bit of an anticlimactic start. Flight's been delayed by 2 hours, but on the plus side, apparently I get some free food.
Even though it makes no sense, sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotion. Sometimes I'm the lightning, don't wanna pick a fight with everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me if I'm in the dark?
I totally forgot how in humid countries your camera just completely fogs up. But hello! It's Singapore! It's day one. I was gonna say the sunlight is out, but it's not sunny, but it's daylight, and I've been up since 4:30 a.m. waiting for the sun to come out so I could go outside, and I'm really excited. It's very hot, but today I'm going to the gardens at the bay, and I decided to walk, even though it's a 40-minute walk from my hotel, because number one, I love to save money, but I also think you find the coolest places when you're walking, and it just so happened I literally just walked right into Canning Park, which is actually quite popular and quite the Instagram spot, and I went into a random tunnel and it's so beautiful and I recognize it from TikTok and I'm very excited. Apparently I've been walking around with my fly under. One of the downsides of solo travel, nobody to tell you when your fly is down. Luckily, I don't know anyone here. And that's how I have the confidence to vlog in public, because I know I'm never going to see these people again. Fort Canning Park, very beautiful. It kind of looks like it's going to rain, so I'm going to get a hustle on and keep walking through the city. Desperate times cracking into the free Pepsi that came in my hotel room. I don't drink Coke, I don't drink coffee, but the jet lag is hitting me. Like, it's 5 o'clock almost in New Zealand and I'm feeling ready to like sit down, get ready for bed, chill out, have some dinner, and it's like, no, Alan, you have a boat ride at 3 p.m. Pull yourself together. So hence why we have this. I've got my togs on because I'm also about to go to the pool because it is very hot and I have blisters on my feet from walking. My white sneakers look real cute, but they're not comfortable, so I might have to like ditch those on the rest of the big like walking days of this trip. I also have like no makeup on. I've sweated it off. Gardens at the Bay was beautiful though. I really enjoyed just like going around with my camera. Really glad I got there early because it definitely started to get very busy. Took me about an hour to walk there from my hotel because I was stopping and taking photos. As a city, I'm really enjoying Singapore. It feels like really safe as like a solo female traveler. There's lots of people out walking as well. I think it's a very walkable city. Like, everything's very flat. If I wasn't so uncoordinated, I definitely would try a bike as well. The only tricky thing about walking at the moment is it must be the F1 happening very shortly in Singapore because they've set up all of the grandstands and they've blocked off a whole bunch of streets. So it's a little bit chaotic and Google will send you somewhere where you can't actually walk anymore. I also took the bus home and it was so easy. It's just tap on with your PayWave on your credit card. So I had it on my phone even, and tap off, and it's just like, this is the same as they have it in the London Tube, and I'm like, why do we not have this in New Zealand? It makes so much sense. You just use your credit card. It's just so easy. I'm also really enjoying this hotel. Added bonus that they upgraded my room, but it's a really good location, I think. Really close to Orchard Road and Fort Canning, but it's a little bit like on the cheaper side because it's not like in the Bay Area, I think. I thought it was pretty reasonable price. Now if you excuse me, I'm going to hobble my way to the pool with my sore feet.
I see it in your eyes. Yeah, I can read the signs. You need to get away. It's time we make a change. Oh, you know you'll always have me. Baby, I will always stay with you. So put your trust in me.
Putting on the practical but not super cute shoes today because I have blisters literally on the soles of my feet and one of them burst yesterday walking home from the boat ride. So thick socks, ugly but comfy sneakers. Boat ride was really cool yesterday. Wasn't a big fan of the food that came with it, but that's okay. I am kind of like very cautious of food in Singapore, not for the reasons that most people think. I am allergic to peanuts, and obviously in a lot of Asian countries they use peanuts a lot in their cooking. And although I know Singapore is like definitely a lot better than other places in terms of like disclosing peanuts, but there is always risk of like cross-contamination when you have a peanut allergy. And the main thing for me is I would totally take the risk, and like I'm tempted to even just go like look at some of the hawker centers and like some of the street food and stuff, but like because I'm traveling by myself, the risk is not really worth it. The last time I had a bad peanut reaction was actually when I was traveling in Melbourne, and lucky for me it was when Tara lived there and she was actually staying in my hotel with me and was able to like look after me and take me to hospital and stuff. And if she hadn't been there, that would have been absolutely terrifying. So again, if my sister was with me, if I was traveling with a friend, if Ellie was here, I would be more open to being like, hey, let's, you know, I've got my EpiPen. It doesn't say it has peanuts in it. Let me just eat this. But when I'm by myself, I just don't think it's worth it. So as much as I would love to try some of the food here, I am being very overly cautious because that would just be my absolute worst nightmare, to end up with a bad reaction and in hospital in Singapore by myself. Now it is currently 10:20 and I got up at 7 o'clock this morning and have just been working non-stop. Had a little yogurt for breakfast. I also had a Zoom discovery call with someone interested in signing up for one of my courses. I did some more client posts, and the funny thing is I wanted to gas it out of here at like 8:30 after my second discovery call, which they didn't even show up, which is kind of annoying. I was just gonna go straight to the Art and Science Museum. And then I was having issues booking tickets on their website. They were saying it was available, but then it wouldn't process. So then I clicked the 1 o'clock time slot and it went through, and I was like, damn it, this is like the universe telling me, Ellen, you have to do your work before you go out. So I spent longer than I thought I would, but it's good because now I am nice and organized, and I have one client that is just like completely taken care of for the next 4.5 weeks that I'm traveling. I think I'm going to go over to Haji Lane, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and have a look at the buildings over there, take some photos, maybe go find a cafe for lunch, because my other issue is I was going to go to the iconic Raffles Hotel in the Long Bar where the Singapore sling was invented. And then I didn't realize until I looked it up, and I'm glad I did, they have this thing where they throw peanut shells on the floor, and it's like this big tradition. And I did some more research on it, and there were some other people online who'd written about going there and then getting a peanut reaction, even though they didn't like sit in the peanut shells. It's just like in the air, and it's, yeah. So again, if I was with someone else, I would totally take the risk and be like, YOLO, I have my EpiPen, worst case scenario. And yeah, I don't want to do it when I'm by myself. I don't want to stab myself. I need emotional support for peanut allergy reaction.
Full stop. Can't believe I live in your thoughts. I think about you all the time, morning, evening, and midnight. Such a wonderful delight. Everything that I own, yeah, I'd give it all up now just to be with you somehow. Unexpected love was found. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, I've come out here to say
it has been an afternoon. We ran into some problems problems, classic travel issues. I caught the underground, loved it, was amazing. Went from Haji Lane area over back towards the Art and Science Museum. Loved the exhibition I went to there as well. Like overall was having a great day. Started to feel a little bit lightheaded and a bit like tired, and literally went and bought a lemonade. Paid for my lemonade, then turned around and left, and the guy was like, "Excuse me, miss," they're like, "You forgot your lemonade that you just bought." And I was like, well, this is a sign I should go home, have a nap, maybe have some more food. And on my way home, I discovered that all of the roads that I had walked down yesterday were closed for the F1. I didn't realize it's actually like happening this weekend as race day. So it's actually like in the next couple of days, I'm assuming they'll have practice and qualifier and all of that jazz. So they're like proper, like ready to go. And I got like stuck, like no joke, just completely stuck in the F1 circuit, which is kind of really fun to laugh about now. But today I had promised myself that I was just gonna get the bus, the underground everywhere because of the blisters on my feet. They're so sore. I also didn't mention I got a little bit like sunburnt yesterday, so I was trying to stay out of the sun. Ended up walking in the baking heat, the sun pouring down, 32 degrees, getting stuck. I tried to go to like 3 different bus stops and different bus routes, and they were all closed. And then I was like, okay, let me just like walk until I'm past the racetrack and then get on a bus. And I was walking and I was walking and I was walking. Finally got to what I thought was like the end of the track. And it was actually like a straight road that had been completely shut off. I think it was like the finish line of the route. So they had all of the grandstands. You could not cross the road at all. And I looked left, I looked right. I was like, which way should I try to go around this? I went left. It was a bad decision. I should have gone right because that would have actually taken me to the underground, but I hadn't had enough food. I was not thinking. So it was an ordeal to get home. I ended up walking their entire way. The other thing that happened yesterday was I got eaten by mosquitoes at the gardens. And I have one that, like, no joke, is the size of a tennis ball, like on my calf, and it is so painful. So I'm like limping along with my blisters, my mosquito bites, starving hungry, being like, I just want to go home or back to my hotel. And then I ended up having like a pit stop at a random bar. The good thing was, because I'd been on the boat the day earlier, I had a really good sense of direction where I was going. It was just trying to navigate around the race course because that wasn't showing up on Google Maps. And I also knew where there were some good restaurants and bars. So I ended up actually having a really nice drink and some lunch along the waterfront, looking back across at one of the big famous hotels, and then the Marina Bay in the background. It was very beautiful, actually. Okay, so here is the thing about me. I do not mind eating in a restaurant alone. I have absolutely no problem with that. I've had a lot of practice at that, actually. I actually quite enjoy it. I don't have to make small talk. I can just enjoy my food, read a book, glass of wine, like the dream. But what I do have an issue with at the moment, solo traveling, is my budget. So I've got my pot of noodles from the 7-Eleven around the corner for dinner. And I just went for a walk to go buy this, and it is beautiful outside, and I really regret not having the energy to explore Singapore in the evening. And it is because of the 4-hour difference, I think, the time difference with New Zealand, and the fact that the first night got taken out because my flight was like 2.5 hours delayed. Then if I hadn't done so much walking today, my plan was to go out for dinner, but I had to come back to the hotel room because I had some discovery calls around 5 o'clock. Like I couldn't have just stayed out for the whole day. Also, I'm tired. I'm like not a very like over the top traveler. I like to do a couple of things a day and just like walk around and enjoy it. So I like to have lots of rest and chill time. Next, I'm flying to Germany, and I've got 3 nights in Germany. Then I go on to Switzerland, which is where I meet up with Ali, which I'm very excited about. But I'm very conscious of like, this is just the first part of my trip, and I've got to make sure I have enough money for the rest of the trip. I know tomorrow I'm gonna be having a few meals out. The food is like not super expensive here. Like I'd say it's pretty on par with New Zealand, but I know Switzerland is gonna be expensive. So like I just walked past so many beautiful bars. Like this whole street around my hotel was like dead when I walked home at like, what was that, 3 o'clock. Now it has absolutely come alive. There was this gorgeous wine bar that was just such a vibe. I really wanted to go in there, and people all out on the streets drinking, not in like a bad way, like in a, they've finished work, they're all there with their shirt and ties, and they're all just having their post-work beer and wine. And I really wanted to get amongst it, but I think I've held my best self back, and I know I will come back to Singapore one day, and I know I will do the full experience with dining out for dinner, and I'll go enjoy all the lights, and oh my god, the temperature was so much nicer as soon as the sun starts to go down. It's like beautiful sunset, like that nice, perfect, warm, toasty, you know, environment, but not like baking in the sunshine. Airport, but the adventure is not over yet. There's a really cool system here where you can check in early, like literally up to 24 hours early, which I don't know that you go that extreme. But basically you can do that so you can come check out all of the cool things that they have in the airport. So there's lots of shopping, but there's also a butterfly garden, a cactus garden, all sorts of activities. There's a movie theatre. So I just figured I would come in and just have like the coolest evening at the airport, which sounds kind of lame when you put it like that, but this is not a lame airport. My flight doesn't leave till 1:30 in the morning, so I've got heaps of time. The sun is just setting out here, and I've spent most of the morning working, and then I did a couple more hours of work once I got to the airport. So now it is time to like truly relax and enjoy. I do have a really badly infected mosquito bite on my leg though, which is TMI, but it's kind of bothering me. Hopefully I can still get it out. Hello, we've jumped forward in time. I'm actually in Berlin now. I didn't finish the Singapore vlog because things got a bit chaotic in the airport. Nothing to do with the airport itself, loved it. I showed a little clip before I watched the Elvis movie. Fantastic movie, I hadn't seen it yet, so that was just like such perfect timing that happened to be on right when I was at the airport. But I think I did mention in one of the previous clips that I had an infected mosquito bite on my leg, and I get bitten by mosquitoes a lot. If you know me, it happens. And I often will have like allergic reactions to them as well. But what concerned me about this particular bite was I had been bitten like 5 times across my body, and all of them were normal except for this one on my leg that blew up to like this big, like a huge red purple patch. And then the redness started to spread all up my leg. And from my Googling, that was bad. And then I thought I was being a hypochondriac, and I messaged Tara and I was like, this is my leg. And she's like, that doesn't look good. I think you really need to go to like a pharmacy and get someone to like look at it and get some cream. And I was like, okay, I'm not overreacting. Like, this is pretty nasty. So I did that just before going to the airport. But I don't think like the new cream really like kicked in and did much. Plus I was like walking around lots in the airport. I tried to put my foot up when I went to the movies. I was like, great, I can sit here for 3 hours and have my foot up and it'll be fine. And then it just got worse, and I was like on my phone being like, cool, I'm gonna have to get my driver, instead of taking me to my hotel, to take me to an emergency room to have someone look at my leg. And then I was really concerned with like flying with it. I was like, what the hell is wrong with it? Like, what kind of infection are we talking here? Am I gonna just have to have my leg amputated when I get to Berlin? Now you can see the hypochondriac in me coming out, where I always think worst case scenario. In the end, I think that cream helped, and I also took some like more antihistamines, and I think that also helped. And on my flight I had my flight socks on, like the grandma that I am. And I also think being out of the Singapore heat and just like in the air-conditioned airplane was really good for me as well. And just sitting, I think it was the walking and the heat that really like aggravated whatever infection I had. And then it just, by the time I landed, I took my flight sock off, I was expecting to see the worst, and it had actually gotten better. And then throughout the next few hours, it just like improved. And then today it's been like way better than it has been all week. So this is a really long, boring story about an infection on my leg that doesn't actually lead anywhere, because I thought I was going to end up in hospital with it, and I was like looking up German translations for mosquitoes. So hence why I stopped recording anything for the vlog. I also just got so shattered and tired. My flight didn't leave till 1:30 a.m. Singapore time, which I think was like, what was that, like 4:30 New Zealand time? So I was just sitting at the airport in the Starbucks with hot chocolate like, you didn't need to see that. But overall, loved the trip to Singapore. I'm not actually vlogging this little Berlin trip. I'm only in Berlin for 2 nights, and then I'm in Frankfurt for a night. So I decided I didn't really want to film it, even though now I've had a really good day. I kind of regret it, but I have been filming little mini vlogs for my Instagram and my TikTok, so I'll link those down below if you want to go check out some more travel content. And then coming up, we're probably going to do a little skip forward to either Switzerland. I'm still not sure if I want to vlog Switzerland, because I don't think I'll be doing that many exciting things. So again, it might just be on Instagram. If not Switzerland, there will definitely for sure be a South Africa vlog coming your way, and we're heading to Kruger Park again, and we're going to see all the animals, and I'm so excited. Ali's family is of course from South Africa as well, so we're going to be seeing all his family, and we're going to Kruger Park with his parents as well. And I'm just so excited. I cannot wait, and I'm really excited about the video content and photos we're going to get in Kruger with my new camera as well, so stay tuned. If you have any questions about my trip, particularly if you're looking for tips and advice on solo travel in Singapore, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoyed this vlog, if you want to see more. I love filming them, and I love an excuse to go overseas and make content and travel and just generally enjoy myself. It's pretty awesome. For now, I've had the day in Berlin, and I now need to do a little bit of work. I'm gonna pour myself a glass of wine, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.